Hello, fifth graders, and welcome to today's math lesson. For today, you will need your math resource binder, your 5A textbook, your 5A workbook, and paper and pencil. If you need to go get those things, please do so now and then come on back. Your warm-up problems today are related to our adding and subtracting of unlike fractions. Go ahead and pause and solve these and then come on back and see how you did. So remember, when we are adding unlike fractions, our first step is to find our common denominator, which in this case, is 21. So equivalent fractions based on a common denominator. So 5/7 should be 15/21. 2/3 would be 14/21. Then we add our numerators to get 29/21. We make proper, which is 1 and 8/21. Can we simplify? No. So our answer is 1 and 8/21. All right, subtraction. Although we're going to kind of build on this skill a little bit in the next couple of days. But remember, we're going to make improper first. So 3 and 1/4 becomes 13/4 minus 4/5. Then we find our common denominator, which is 20. So we need to multiply 4 by 5 and 13 by 5, okay? Maybe you know that, maybe you wrote it off to the side. Either way, you should have found that it's 65/20 minus, oops, I almost did that wrong, minus 16/20. Okay? We do our subtraction and get 49/20. 55 minus, I'm just double checking my work. Good. And then we make proper, which you should have gotten 2 and 9/20. And then check, can you simplify? Which the answer is no, you cannot. Hopefully that went okay. Again, I kind of hinted at this. We're going to be building on this concept today. Specifically, we're going to be working on adding mixed numbers. And again, they're going to be unlike fractions, adding mixed numbers with unlike fractions. I am going to give you some notes for today, but it's going to be pretty straightforward because it's going to build off of the notes that we've already worked on for the last couple of days. So I'm going to flip you around and you can work along with me. I'm actually going to be writing these as we go, so you might find that today you're able to keep up and not having to pause as much. So today's notes are going to have us adding mixed numbers. Okay, so let's say we're solving the problem 3 and 2/3 plus 1 and 1/4. Okay, step 1 is going to have us add the whole numbers. Okay, so 3 plus 1, we start by adding the whole numbers. 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay, add the whole numbers, and I guess I should say rewrite the fractions. So 3 plus 1 is 4, and then we can copy 2/3 plus 1/4. Okay. Now, from here on out, we really go ahead and follow all of the steps for adding unlike fractions. So follow steps for adding unlike fractions. You should have these notes in your math resource binder. So we kind of have this 4, and you could even put that as 4 plus. That might even be easier. 4 plus 2/3 plus 1/4. I'm not going to rewrite all of the steps because you've already written all these steps down. but we'll do them together right now. So we want to find equivalent fractions with common denominators, okay? 3 and 4, their common denominator is 12. So we want to find equivalent fractions. 2/3 then equals 8/12, and 1/4 equals 3/12. The next step tells us to add our numerators. 8 plus 3 is 11/12. Now we check. Can we make proper? Nope. Can we simplify? Nope. So we add these together and we get 4 and 11/12. Okay? So really the big difference for adding mixed numbers is that we're going to start by adding our whole numbers. And you can see I keep rewriting it because it's happened in the past where fifth graders sort of lose the whole number. They forget about the whole number. Okay, so I keep writing 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus. But the work is happening with the fractions until we get to this final step and we put them back together. Okay, so again, these notes would be great to put into your math resource binder. I'll upload again an image of these, but we're going to be moving into our textbooks. I'll do a little textbook together and a little bit not from the textbook, but we're on page 61. And the first problem that they're giving us on page 61 is asking us to find the total length of 3 5/8 and 1 7/12. Okay, so 1A, this is an addition problem. 3 5/8 plus 1 7/12. So when we're adding mixed numbers, our first step is to add the whole numbers. Okay, so this is a whole number, this is a whole number. 3 plus 1 is 4. And with that step 1, remember, then we rewrite the fraction. So 4 plus 5/8 plus 7/12. Now we're going to focus on the fraction portions and re-follow all those steps that we have for adding unlike fractions, okay? So 4 plus, just to keep track of it, we have our common denominator, which is, in this case, 24, okay? So we find our equivalent fraction. We want to multiply both of these by 3, so we get 15/24. And here, we need to multiply both of these by 2 to get 14/24, okay? Now we add our numerators. 15 plus 14 is 29/24. Now we have to check, can we make this proper? Yeah, we can. That's currently improper. We keep writing this 4 plus because I don't want you to lose it. 4 plus 1 5/24. Now we can combine these together, right? We add these two together by adding these whole numbers. 4 plus 1 is 5, and our fraction is 5/24, which cannot be simplified. So this is how we'd add these mixed numbers, okay? Part B is asking us to add 4 7/12 plus 1 3/4. So remember, we add our whole numbers. 4 plus 1 is 5. And then we add these together. We find our common denominator. Don't be tricked, fifth graders. Don't do more work than you have to. Our common denominator here is 12ths, which means 7/12 should stay 7/12. We don't have to change that. If the denominator is already 12, we should keep it. This one we do need to change though, right? We're going to multiply both of these by 3, so we get 9/12. Okay, I'm going to move this aside so I have a flat surface to write on. So again, 5 plus, now we add our numerators. 7 plus 9. 7 plus 9 is 16. Can we make this proper? Yeah, we can, right? 16/12 is equal to 1 4/12. Can we simplify this? Yep, you bet. These are both divisible by 4. So this is equal to 1 1/3. Now we add our whole numbers. 5 plus 1 is 6. And we get 6 and 1/3. Fifth graders, we're going to move on to page 62. We're going to work on problem 1 on page 62. I'm trying to save paper without having to look at the previous problem. So it's asking us to add 3 and 1/6 plus 1 and 9/10. So again, let's start with those whole numbers. 3 plus 1 is 4. Then we want to find our common denominator. We've been working with 6 and 10 a lot. The textbook has been giving us lots of opportunities. So hopefully we remember that our least common multiple for 6 and 10 is 30. So now we find these equivalent fractions. 1/6, we're multiplying both of these by 5. So we get 5/30. 9/10, we're going to multiply both of these by 3. So 27/30. Now we can go ahead and add our numerators. 27 plus 5 is 32. So we get 4 and 32/30. Can we make this proper? Yes, 32/30 is equal to 1 and 2/30. Can we simplify? Yep. It's equal to 1 and 1/15. So we add our whole numbers. 4 plus 1 is 5. And we end up with 5 and 1/15. Okay, fifth graders, I'm going to give you 3 problems to work on right now on your own. So your first practice problem I'm going to ask you to do is 4 and 5/6 plus 3 and 3/10. Next practice problem will be 3 and 1/4 plus 4 and 4/5. And your third practice problem will be 2 and 2/3 plus 1 and 4/5. So go ahead and pause these, fifth graders. Try each of these out. Come on back and see how you did. So for number 1, you should have started with your whole numbers. 4 plus 3 is 7. Plus 5/6 plus 3/10. We see again, we're going to be dealing with that common denominator of 30. So your whole number is 7, right? We keep that throughout. 5/6, we're going to multiply both of these by 5, so we get 25/30. We're going to multiply both of these by 3, so we get 9/30. Then we add. 25 plus 9 is 34. So 7 and 34/30. Can we make this proper? Yes, we can. 1 and 4/30. Can we simplify? Yep. 1 and 2/15. Add it all together and we get 8 and 2/15. Hopefully you got that correct. Let's take a look at 2. Start with those whole numbers. 3 plus 4 is 7. Then copy down our fractions. Next, we find our equivalent fractions. Our common denominator here is 20. 1/4, we're going to multiply both of these by 5, so it's 5/20. We're going to multiply both of these by 4 to get 16/20. Then we add. 5 plus 16 is 21. Can we make this proper? Yes, we can. This is equal to 1 and 1/20. We cannot simplify, though. We finish our addition and get 8 and 1/20. And finally, number 3, we start with our whole numbers. 2 plus 1 is 3. we find our common denominator, which is going to be 15. So we multiply both of these by 5 to get 10/15, both of these by 3 to get 12/15. We add our numerators, which is 22/15. Can we make this proper? Yep. This equals 1 7/15. Can we simplify? We cannot. So our final step is to add our whole numbers, and we get 4 7/15. Again, fifth graders, hopefully that this went okay for you. Remember, I've kind of been talking a lot more lately about these checkpoints, right? So this is a checkpoint for you. How did it go? You did 3 practice problems on your own. Did it go okay? Did it not? Could you figure out where mistakes happened? So this is kind of where you want to check in with yourself, check in with your work, ask for help if you need it. Next, you're going to work on those attached practice problems. This is your second check-in opportunity. You're going to complete those problems. You're going to check your work with the key, see if you can understand your mistakes. And again, if it's not going well, then you reach out for help, okay? Once you've done your practice, you feel like you're ready to go, then you go ahead and move on to your homework, which is pages 56 and 57 in your workbook. You're going to take a picture of your work, upload that picture, and we will take a look at it. Okay, let me know if you have questions. Good luck, fifth graders.